Champions League playoffs are here. Yes, this is a second chance. Another opportunity for all the teams that failed to qualify automatically with the big boys. From the group stage, the top 8 is what I'm talking about to get into the round of 16. Well, we currently have 16 teams competing in the playoff rounds. What that means is that 8 of them will qualify automatically to join the top 8 in the round of 16, and the remaining 8, the losers, they'll probably pack their bag and go back to where they came from. Yes, a number of clubs were very disappointing initially. The likes of Real Madrid, who had every clear opportunity to qualify with the big boys, where technically you could argue they belong, being that they are the club with Champions League heritage. But for some weird reason, their old manager, in the person of the special one, Jose Mourinho, decided to play a fast one on them, and they lost out. Barcelona took their chances and qualified. Barcelona being, of course, the only La Liga club to represent the entire La Liga and qualify automatically to that round of 16. So first of all, I think this is a huge opportunity for likes of Real Madrid, likes of Juventus and Inter Milan, to show their mettle, to show that they are the big boys here. And even PSG is the defending champions. I don't know, it's becoming a bad habit of theirs, not qualifying automatically, and later now they will now begin to fire everybody to go ahead and win the cup. They better not try this season, if not, we'll go vex for them. So yes, let's get into the predictions sharp sharp. First matchup we have is Galatasaray versus Juventus. Now, yes, Galatasaray lost last match they ate or the Champions League group stage to Manchester City away at the Etihad Stadium. You could have seen that coming. Osimhen, I think, played that game, but Manchester City just had a little bit too much for them, and you could understand why. Yes, so this time around they'll be at home to Juventus, and Juventus also in the last match day of the Champions League group stage, I think they played a nil-nil draw away at Monaco. And Monaco, I don't know, their form in this Champions League has just been something else. So, but considering that this game will be played in Turkey, and with the likes of Osimhen, I believe he had about 6 goals in the group stage of the Champions League. So I think he has something to prove, and he will bring in something very powerful to this Galatasaray side. I see this game being a tight one, but then again, I see Galatasaray edging because they have to. Because if they don't, going to Juventus for the second leg will be a very tricky one for them. So I see this being a 2-1 win to Galatasaray. Our next matchup we have is Borussia Dortmund versus Atalanta. Yes, Borussia Dortmund lost at home to I think Inter Milan last match day of the group stage. So I think this one again they are still at home. They're still at home against Atalanta. So I sincerely think that if they don't beat Atalanta at home, they should just consider it over for themselves. Because Borussia Dortmund's form in the Champions League, this is it's been somehow they've really not been consistent. But then again, they still have good players that can turn up under the lights. So I see this being a very even game. I see this ending in a 2-all draw, between Dortmund and Atalanta. And Monaco versus PSG. Monaco did receive that heavy beating away to Real Madrid. 6 goals, because they have 6 goals, 6-0, 6-1. And then they played a goalless draw last match day with Juventus. This time around, they are home to their local rivals. Of course, these are the people they know very well in the Ligue 1, PSG, the Ligue 1 champions, the ones that are dominating the entire Ligue 1. And PSG this season in the Champions League, they've neither been here or not there. They have very good players. They still have a core of their team that won the competition for them last season. So I still see them bringing the heat in this particular matchup. And to be honest, I still see PSG having a little bit too much for Monaco in this particular matchup. I see PSG heading it with a 2-0 win away to Monaco. And then, yes, the big one, the Obonge match that everybody's eye will be peeling to watch, Benfica versus Real Madrid. Yeah, match day 8, this was the match that made match day 8 match day 8. Yes, the final game of the group stage, this was the banger. Real Madrid needed to just win that game to qualify automatically. But Benfica said, not today. We were struggling for our lives. Benfica were winning, I think 3-2, 9 minutes, almost the last kick of the game, only for Jose Mourinho to signal to his goalkeeper to go ahead and try and make an attempt for the ball, which he ended up scoring. And that extra goal meant they automatically qualified for the playoffs. Otherwise, even after winning that game, if they had not won by a minimum of 2 goals, they would still not have qualified. So that was a very dramatic ending and a very emotional one also for the Benefica fans. And them having this same matchup again against Real Madrid at home for the first leg, this is just going to be absolute football cinema. Because I see Real Madrid trying to come for, the remontada, the revenge. But then Benfica will still want to capitalize on their momentum from the previous, win they had at home with their fans fully behind them. So personally, I see this being a very tight 2-all draw. Then we have Karabakh versus Newcastle. Karabakh, to be honest, they've been very impressive, at least in this particular Champions League campaign. A lot of people they expect a lot from them, but they've been pretty decent, if you ask me. Newcastle, yes, they did have that 1-all draw away to PSG at the last match day, and and they're the only English team who failed to qualify automatically for the round of 16. The remaining four English teams automatically qualify, even Tottenham. Yes, Tottenham, as shabby as Tottenham had, they qualified. As a matter of fact, qualified number 4 on the table. So yes, I see Newcastle, and yes, they did have that win over, Aston Villa in the FA Cup the other day, that 3-1 win. So I still see something very similar to that scoreline they had over Aston Villa, at the Villa Park. I see them having a 3-1 win over Karabakh in this particular matchup. Next, we have Olympiacos versus Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Olympiacos, the Greek maestros, they are the Greek big boys. Yeah, in this Champions League campaign, they've had some very difficult, uh, uh, matchups to play, but then they've at least they maintained their position and have made it thus far to this playoffs level. Against Bayer Leverkusen, to be honest, they really have to ensure that they win at home. And to be honest, in their home, they're actually a very strong side because they'll have the whole support of the home crowd, which will really, really, inspire them to victory. Because I don't see them going to, Germany and getting the win. So I think I'm going to back them in this particular home fixture with a 3-2 win against Bayer Leverkusen. The next matchup we have is Bodo Glimt versus Inter Milan. Now here's the funny part. Last season's Europa League, yeah, everybody thought Bodo Glimt was the underdog, and rightfully so. But then they proved everybody wrong. You understand? This season again, Champions League, everybody still wrote them off. And to be fair, they didn't even win. I don't think they won any of their matches until I think match day 7 and 8 when they beat Manchester City 3-1 at home. And then they went away to Atletico Madrid and beat them again in Madrid, which is just mental if you come to think about it. So I think they're the underdogs in this particular matchup. Maybe there's something about the weather because most teams that go to play them in their home ground in Norway tend to complain about the weather. So I don't know how Inter Milan are going to fare with this one. Yes, Inter Milan watched their last match day against, uh, you know, uh, Borussia Dortmund, but then they got thrashed by Arsenal. The previous match, Arsenal just totally outdid them. The likes of Bastoni were nowhere to be found. So because of that home advantage thus far, I want to back Bodo Glimt in this particular matchup. So I want to give them a narrow 1-goal lead. But I think that in the reverse fixture, Inter Milan will totally dominate them and outdo them to qualify for the round of 16. Because to be honest, let's be honest now, I don't see Inter Milan failing to qualify for the round of 16. These are last season's semi-finalists. Do you understand? So come on. Next matchup we have is Club Brugge versus Atletico Madrid. Club Brugge, what do I have to say about them? They've been decent, but Atletico Madrid, it was very disappointing loss against Bodo Glimt at home. You understand? That is it. And but recently they've brought in Lookman. Lookman is on absolute fire. I mean, he has announced himself in La Liga. The other day they thrashed Barcelona 4-0 in the first leg semi-final for I think of the Copa del Rey, yeah, Kings Cup. And then, of course, they rested players, a lot of players in their last match and lost. So this time around, I see them coming with full force. They have to go to, Club Brugge and get the maximum points. So I see them taking a 2-goal win in this particular matchup. And so yes, that does it for us for the first leg tie of the Champions League playoffs. So let me know what your predictions are in the comments, and of course, I'm reacting to every single one of them. I think all of our Champions League, match previews on this particular channel have actually been doing very well. All thanks to you guys. You guys have been so supportive, and big shout out to all of our subscribers on YouTube and of course our followers on TikTok. So yeah, let me know your thoughts as well as your score predictions in the comment section below. And of course, you know me now, I respond to every single comment. As you're dropping it, I'm responding. As you're dropping it, I'm responding. That's how we do on this channel. We don't let anything get cold as it is hot. That is how we do it. And so yes, help one man picking out by subscribing to the channel, because if you don't do it, how will the channel grow now? Support the channel, like the video, share it with a friend of a friend that loves football. If your team is here, come and support your team. Share this video with someone whose team is playing tomorrow or next tomorrow. And even if your team is not playing, support the teams that are playing. And I'll see you in the next video.